Hello, my name is Allison Carmen, and welcome to my podcast, 10 Minutes to Less Suffering. And the name of today's podcast is Often Life Chooses for Us. And this has been on my mind lately. I had a trip planned to go to London to see my daughter who's studying there, and I was so excited. I booked a bunch of restaurants, I booked some high tea. I worked really hard for a couple weeks late into the night, so I would have the time and the space to really enjoy my trip. And the Saturday before I left, I got a call from my mom, and she told me that she was not feeling well, and I needed to come to New Jersey immediately. She ended up having a pulmonary embolism and was very ill. And I remember not resisting that moment, not resisting. I wasn't going to London. I was so clear that life had brought me to this moment, and this is where I was supposed to be. I even thought about all that work I did until midnight. It really was to prepare me to have time to take care of my mom. And as things started to slow down and my mother went into rehab, I noticed my mindset started to change. I was seeing my mother suffer. I was seeing a lot of people not being able to walk at rehab, and I just wanted to resist what was happening. And as I started to resist it, I started to have thoughts like, I don't want this to be happening. I don't want my mother to be in rehab. I started to become very low. And then I caught myself because I know that all resistance leads to negativity. And my mother was in rehab. There was nothing that I can do about it. And as I started to remember that I couldn't change what was happening. And if I could be fully present, if I could merge with what was actually happening in front of me, I could connect back to the light, and I can make the best of it. And that's exactly what happened. As I started to let go and I started to embrace the moment for what it was, I was open enough to have a laugh with my mom. I was open enough to be grateful that she's still with us, to give her a hug, to have meaningful conversation. I stopped shutting down, and instead of shutting down, I opened up, and with opening up, a larger perspective took over. And I share this story with you today because often there are things going on in our lives that we like and that we don't like. And so we end up embracing the things that we enjoy. We embrace our successes. We embrace our fun. But with the things we don't like, we resist them. And then we have all that negativity in our lives. And what we forget is that this is how life comes. One thing can't be happening without another. And when we could accept everything, we become one with the moment. That there's no resistance. Life has more ease. And then we get to decide where we're going to put our energy. In the rehab, I decided to put my energy on my mom in that moment to make the most of it. We don't realize that if we want to create things in our lives and truly manifest, uniting the energy within ourselves, accepting everything, we have a choice to focus where our energy is going to go. If we accept what we like and we accept what we don't like, we can see it all and choose what gets center stage. Let's say you want to change something that's happening at work, and you want to change something that's happening in a relationship, and that's where you want to put your energy. Imagine how much more energy you will have if you're not resisting all the other problems in your life. If you're not resisting the problem that you have with a relative, if you're not resisting the problem that you have with what's going on in the world, if you accept them, then you have inner harmony, and then you get to choose. And it's not that you don't try to change the other things you don't like. It's just you're not pushing against life. You're aligning with life. You're partnering with life. And that's your true launch pad to create new things. And most of all, to have more ease in your life. When you're resisting, there's negativity, there's no ease, there's just suffering. When you accept it, it's not that all the pain goes away, but you don't have the pain of arguing that something exists. When you argue that something exists, it's like banging your head against the wall, and that really hurts. So at least by accepting everything, you give yourself the opportunity to be with everything, to be fully present. And that's where you get the larger perspective. But we cannot show up as whole if we are in conflict within, if we are demanding that life gives us something else. Because sometimes life chooses. Life chose that I was not going to London. So I had a choice. I could resist it and be really negative, or I could accept it and be fully present with my mom. And the same thing regarding her rehab, and the same thing regarding every issue in your life. And again, when we make these choices, we decide where we're going to put our energy. We do have the power to access more possibilities in the world of infinite possibilities. So change is possible, but the moment comes as it comes. And it's our job to show up, to accept, and to allow what this moment is giving us. And by allowing what this moment is giving us, we are allowing ourselves to be who we truly are. And we are allowing ourselves to access all our creativity, all our power, the depth of who we are, the depth of our desires, and the expansive experience in the moment that we're in. So how can we do this? And as I've said many times before, the most important thing is awareness. When the negativity comes in, when we're trying to push something away that we don't like, we can ask ourselves what exactly is going on in this moment. Where is this negativity coming from? And our mantra could be, I didn't expect this, but I accept it. What is still possible in this moment? How can I embrace all that is happening? What do I want to place in my center today? What do I want to focus on? How do I want to show up in this moment? And then you will feel an ease and a peace within. Not because you start to like everything that's happening, but because you accept it and there's no conflict within. Even if there's sadness, even if there's anger, that's different than the conflict of arguing that something is happening. And then we get to process our feelings, and then we just show up for our lives. And I know a lot of people think that if they accept what they don't like, they're giving up, and the exact opposite is happening. Again, we don't realize how much energy goes to resistance. But when that's not there, negativity's not there. And when that's not there, we get all our energy back to be the creator of our future, to be the creator of new things in our lives, and to be the creator of our inner peace. And show up for the people we love, show up for our problems, show up for everything as our authentic selves, as our loving selves, as our most powerful selves. Life is often telling us where we need to be, and we make the difference by how we show up for it. So yes, you get to choose what you want to change. You get to choose what you like and what you don't like. But when you see it all, you say, this is my life, and this is how it comes. We start to realize that we can't have one thing in our lives without the other. It all comes together. And when we realize that within ourselves, we come together. We harness all that we are. And amazingly, the more we'll know what we need to do next. And we remember that because the future is unknown, infinite possibilities exist, miracles happen, change happens, and you could take part in driving that change. Because once you accept it, anything is possible. And once you accept it, you remember, maybe the best is yet to come. Thank you for listening to this podcast today. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can email me at allison@allisoncarmen.com. And if you'd like to buy my books, The Gift of Maybe or A Year Without Men, they're available at all major bookstores and online retailers. And if you'd like to listen to my new audiobook, The Gift of Maybe, it's available at all major audio platforms. And if you like this podcast, I hope you subscribe and leave a comment.